Our next speaker is coming to us from his base in Hong Kong, and he is going to talk about bringing technology into the classroom. He taught me how to say his name right in Ireland, and it is Colin Gallagher. Colin?
Thanks. Good afternoon, Bangkok. Let me just take a picture first because I'm all a Twitter, so I'm sure you're all on Twitter too. So I'll tweet this later. Okay. If you're taking pictures of me as well, I'd love if you could tweet me up later on, Colin Gallagher. I'm here today. I'm a technology instructor in a school in Hong Kong. This involves me teaching technology as well as sneaking around the school, looking inside classroom windows and seeing what other teachers are doing with technology. I'm a bit of a private eye for the technology. So this year I kind of focused on the kindergarten students in our school because I've noticed that we didn't really think of them as any different than the older grades. In most schools that I've gone to in Hong Kong, there would be a couple of desktops and a digital projector for the student, or for the teacher. So I was thinking about the desktops and were they really the right tool? And they weren't being used in our school, so I had to look into that and see what was going on. So I've tried to kind of put my talk into one phrase today, using the right tool for the right job at the right time. I think in all of our professions, we want to find that perfect tool for the job we're doing to get effective results in an efficient manner. But what about the at the right time bit? In relation to using the iPod Touch in the kindergarten classroom, I'm basically relating that to two things. I'm relating it to the evolution of technology. We're living in a fantastic time. It's a fantastic time to be alive. It's a fantastic time to have the gadgets that we have. So at the right time, I'm talking about the evolution of technology. Number two, I'm thinking about the development of our student abilities. What have they got? What can they use? What's their cognitive and mental capabilities at kindergarten age? And was the iPod Touch really suitable for that? So I'd like to just break it down into a couple of different things and why using the iPod Touch with the kindergarten students made a lot of sense. So that is the iPod Touch. If you've been living in a cave for the last few years, this is it. So I've got 5 different reasons why I think they make sense. Number 1, interactively easy. Sorry for the pixelation. I'm really bad at Photoshop, okay? So it's not a Prezi problem. Interactively easy. I think everybody who has an iPhone knows how easy it is to turn it on. Push, swipe, push. Or if you've got a lot of apps on your iPhone, it's push, swipe, 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 push. So it's not as hard as a desktop. If you think about using Windows desktops, which we had in our school, you have to Control-Alt-Delete. These kindergarten students really find it hard. They're learning the English language. They're learning a couple of different languages, but finding the Control-Alt-Delete button, getting that over with, and then actually knowing how to type in a username and password, even at that young age, is really, really hard for them. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of assistance by the teacher. So that's why I think the iPod Touch makes a lot of sense because it's so interactively easy. Very shallow learning curve, and so the teacher can get along with the teaching, and the student can get along with learning what they're supposed to be learning, and not learning how to use the tool. It's tactile. I think kids at that age really need to be using their fingers. They've got a lot of different traditional things in the classroom, like Play-Doh stuff, so they really need to be using those motor skills. I was reminded yesterday, I was really excited. I was observing one of the classes, and one of the little girls, she was doing her little alphabetical game on the iPod Touch, and her other hand was going like this, and she was doing the iPod Touch like this. And I was there, oh my goodness, I have struck gold. This is some sort of sign about higher brain activity. This is gonna my name in lights, Nobel Peace Prize, maybe even a wage increase, I don't know. It wasn't until I went back and I watched the video that I made, this little girl with her fingers going, she had glue stuck between her fingers. It was whooshed. I was brought back down to earth. So my lesson learned was the kindergarten classroom is a weird and wonderful place, and not everything is what it seems in the kindergarten classroom, that's for sure. Okay, so what do we actually do with the iPod Touch in the kindergarten classroom? Sorry, keep on working towards that. We use the apps. We use the whole range of apps that are out there. There are so many different apps for age-specific and grade-level kids. So we've got phonics apps, we've got number basics apps where they basically trace the number, and it's all really, really centralized in the iPod store, the App Store, and the iTunes. So I don't think it's very easy for me and it's very easy for the teachers to find the software. It's so centralized. You go to one place, you get it, you search for phonics. I don't think in the history of educational software has it really been so easy to find so many apps in one place. So yeah, I think the resources for the iPod Touch is really excellent. It is so relevant. It's the amount of times when the kindergarten student sees the iPod Touch for the first time, oh, my mum or dad has one of them, but they never let me play with it. I like to say that the parents who say that to their kids have sticky finger syndrome. So they've got a fear that the kids might have they might ruin the technology. Don't touch my technology. So I like to call that sticky finger syndrome. It's so relevant because of the age we live in. We're living in such a fantastic age to live in. Imagine, I've got a confession to make. I still print out things. Okay, I wasn't brought up reading digitally. Okay, I need to print out like the 2010 Horizon Report. I needed to print that out. It's like 500 pages. I needed to print it out. Imagine if I was brought up totally reading things on digital devices. Is it possible that I would not need to have printed word to read? So, I don't want to get it all dramatic, but imagine the global environmental implications for this next generation coming up that may not have the need to print out stuff because they're used to reading it on a screen, iPod Touch, iPad, whatever else comes in the future. So I'll move on to my next point in case you all want to run out and hug a tree, so I'll move on. I think the last thing, and I hope Apple don't sue me because I really butchered their Apple logo. And maybe actually Nike might sue me too because the mouth looks like a Nike sign. This is my last reason why. It's fun. Using the apps on the iPod Touch is just fun. A lot of them, if not all of them, take the form of a games-based approach. So they've got leveling up, they level up, they score points, and they get that sense of achievement in them. When I was back in primary school, I was doing it with Mario Brothers at home. So I wasn't doing it in the classroom. I never saved the princess, but I got a sense of achievement from leveling up. So bringing that into the classroom I think it's a fantastic way, and there's a big movement of games-based learning at the minute, and if we get it started off with that, I think it's a good thing. So that's pretty much it. It's a very short speech. I know we've got lunch to go to, so I just want to leave you with two things. Number one, I hadn't really had my mind wide open, I think, before when thinking about our kindergarten students in class. So I believe we need to really take a look around us and really take advantage of the time that we're living in and take advantage of the technology that we have and get these young students, the next generation, on the right path to what their future will most likely be in a world of technology. The second thing, and it's one of the things I tell all parents I meet, and it's be aware of sticky finger syndrome. Okay, we need our students to to experience these things. We need our young children to experience the technologies so that they can really be prepared for the world they're growing into. So that's all I've got. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, mate.
Wow. Between Akanksha's speech and the story of your children, I'm wondering what kind of high school I went to. Your kid was playing with glue on their fingers. I was eating mine.